in the world. In the world. In the world. In the world.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Workbench Wednesday. We're gonna get a little more work done on the apparently invisible glides. Here they are. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna get some more work done on those 3 glides that I will be selling. Slammed glides with a CiottiFPV approved setup of gear. Very, very similar to the glide that I was flying in that bit of footage and most bits of footage that you guys see at the beginning and the end of these live streams 4 times a week for the last year and a half. In the chat, I Could Fly Here FPV, FPV Trucker, Flush FPV, Boiler Boy 1981, Grizz FPV, Northern Tier, Halfboard, Glenn Burnett, Riot 9, Martin Fuchs. I apologize for the late notice on this live stream. We hopefully we'll start see some more folks kind of filing in here. I kind of lost track of time. There was a a very big cycling Instagram channel that posted some of my footage, and there's like over 6,000 likes and tons of comments. And so here's a trick that's worked really well for me in the past, which is what I've been doing for the last like 2+ hours. If that ever happens to you, we'll take a step back. So if any of your footage gets shared on a platform that has a big audience, two things that you can do. On Instagram, this is one of the great things about Instagram, you can actually see the people that have liked it. So if it gets onto a spot and like a couple of hundred people like it, you can go in there and you can go into that list of people that liked it. Wait, can you do that on... Hold on. I've never done this before because it's typically too many people in there. But let me see something real quick. Can you... I know you can see your own. On your own posts, you can see the people that have liked it. I'm pretty sure... Yeah. You can, right? So this is the post, and I just clicked 6,059 others, right? And here you go. Here's a list. So you can go through here. Those are all people that are interested, right? Interested enough to hit the like button in your footage. And so what I do is I go through the comments, because if somebody's willing to post a comment, even if it's just a heart or a little fiery thing or whatever, emojis, that's what they're called. Official boomer moments. Comments are people that are really interested, and what I'll do is I'll go through, and I do it on the computer, I don't do it on the phone, and I just hold Command on Mac, and I click each one of their names, and then I click heart next to their comment. So, you click heart, in their notifications, they get a little CiottiFPV liked your comment. And then I also Command click to open their profile up in a new tab, and then on their profile, you can hit message. So you can just go through and you can just do this quickly. Just bang, 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 bang. Open up a ton of tabs. And then you just write a little something, something. So for this one, it was like, hey, thanks so much for the love on the so-and-so post with my drone footage. It really means a lot to me. And I just send and I just copy and paste that to all of like the normal people, like the individuals that have commented on that post. What that does is then they see my name twice, and typically they'll go, "Oh, cool, follow," and you can get a whole bunch of subscribers that way. These are also people that are tied in with like what you were doing. So in my case here, it's a ton of cycling people. These cycling folks know a lot of other people in the business, right? Maybe they're friends with one of the companies. Maybe they're friends with one of the organizations. So you're getting yourself tied in there. What I look out for are the accounts. When I'm doing that, like as I'm going through, so there's another keystroke, Shift Command bracket, which on a Mac will shift to the next tab. So you can kind of, use your keystrokes. You guys know the magic of keystrokes to go through those really quickly. One of the things that I pay attention to when I'm going through is how many followers they have. As soon as I hit somebody that has more than 1,000 followers, especially if it's a company, I will write them a specific message. I will take a second to look at their profile, figure out what on earth they do, and customize the message a little bit for them. Maybe throw in like, your work looks great. I would love to work together if they're a fellow creative. If I hit a couple of biking companies, so I threw in a little thing about, I'd love to work together on like a promo, if you have a media team, stuff like that. You can also do this on YouTube if you get featured in like Rotor Riot's monthly best of or whatever, you can go through the YouTube comments. You can just kind of anywhere, right? It's, you know, like, you wouldn't believe. So I've gotten featured a whole bunch of times over the years, going all the way back to Quad Camp Atlanta, right, 4.5 years ago. I've always been shocked by how few fresh subs you will get from getting featured on someone else's channel that has a huge viewership, right? Like, the video will get thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and you'll get like 5 more subs. So this is kind of the only way that I've found to improve that ratio a little bit. And like, you know, think about that, like, as you, right? Like, if you saw someone's featured flight footage and you were like particularly inspired by it to drop a comment on that video, think about if that pilot, you know, liked your comment and then also went as far as to send you a little message to say thanks, right? Like, are you not going to be like, oh my God, that's awesome, and subscribe to that person? Even if you don't subscribe to that person, that's pretty cool, right? Like, the internet is so anonymous that, like, hey, you just made someone go like, oh, a stranger cares about me. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, so worst case scenario, you don't get anything for it, but you made somebody's day a little bit better. So there you go. There's a little tip. That is that little process is probably responsible for 90% of the work that I got last year, to be honest. And I did that every single time I worked a gig, and then that footage went up. Typically that footage goes up on a pretty serious channel, right? When I did the gig for Masego, that music video went up on his page with 1 billion followers, right? And yeah, it's monotonous and it takes a ton of time, but you better damn well believe that shit's worth it, right? Like, that's your shot. You know, you building a following, it's just, you know, to build a big following on social media, you're either going to get really lucky, and just something magic is going to happen for you. That's never, for whatever reason, that's never happened for me. I've had that opportunity over and over and over again over the years, and that's never happened for me. And it doesn't really make much sense to me to kind of bank on that and just be like, it's fine, I'll get featured again, right? Like that's, so yeah, there you go. If you're looking to pursue FPV as something to make a little bit of money, maybe even a full-blown career, this is the way, kind of the only way, not the only way, but this is the simplest, cleanest, quickest way that I've been able to find to, you know, branch out in a way that makes sense. It's not obnoxious. It's not, you don't have to pay for it, right? It's not a paid ad. It's not a sponsored ad. None of that stuff. This is all like, I guess it's not considered organic SEO, but it's pretty close to organic SEO. And that has the most impact. The easiest way to think about this is that, you know, if you're going to try to convince somebody to try, if somebody uses Ajax and you want to convince them to try Tide, you can put all the commercials in front of them on their favorite shows that you want. But if you can get somebody that they know or trust, like another human being, to be like, yo, you gotta try Tide, yo, it's better, that's gonna be way more effective than any other form of marketing, right? That's like the golden sort of form of marketing. And yeah, it's kind of a form of organic SEO, but it's not really. I mean, it's kind of word of mouth. Word of mouth being the other way that I book these gigs. You know, doing a gig for a producer and not crashing, not hurting anyone, getting good footage, right? Doing good quality work, that then puts you in that person's good graces forever. So if they, and they're typically friends with a bunch of other creatives. So when those other creatives, you know, when they're talking, when they're hanging, when they're whatever, you're gonna be the go-to person. That is full-blown word of mouth, right? Like that's full-on, like one-on-one, face-to-face, and that, if you get enough of that going, and if you get your name out there in front of enough people one-on-one, that can work really well. And for sure, I got a bunch of gigs for that. But that's a lot harder. That takes a lot more time, right? So yeah, if you manage to get any of your flight footage featured on a big site and it gets a whole bunch of views and looks and comments and stuff like that, in my opinion, that is how you turn that into something. Because, I mean, you know, you can think all day long like, oh, I already did the hard work, man. Did that flying. Flew real good. Best pilot in the goddamn world. Just let me, just come to me. They're just going to come to me now. They're going to come to me. Oh, give me it all. Just come to me. I did the hard work. I did that hard work, man. I flew that quad. I don't know what is happening with the accent there. But nobody's going to come to you. Nobody's going to come to you. I promise you that. If they do, that's awesome for you. Hasn't happened for me yet. It's been a long time. So I would not bank on that. And yeah, gotta work, man. Gotta work it. Gotta twerk it. All right, chat. What's happening? Looks like we're filling up. FPV, if you want to talk directly to me, all you gotta do is type CiottiFPV into the chat. It'll light up in orange. Looks like this. Isn't that cool? You can do that with each other if you want to get if you want to get FPV truckers attention. Type his name, spell it right, and it'll light up in orange for him. This is my full-time job. If you want to support me on this crazy adventure, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Tons of different things that you can do. Patreon helps me out the most. Join it for as little as $3 a month. That's 10 cents a day. Do me a favor and put it on recurring. Don't just do 1 month and get all the benefits and then just have those benefits forever. You know, once you get like the invite to the Discord channel, like, yeah, you kind of have that forever, and you can just pay $3 for that. But do me a favor, hook a brother up with 10 cents a month, set yourself up recurring on Patreon. There's a lot of benefits, there's a lot of continued benefits, and, you know, YouTube's notifications are pretty useless. So being a patron, you're going to get email notifications, Facebook notifications, Discord notifications. And yeah, it really helps me out a lot. There's an Etsy store with a bunch of really fun stuff. Treat yourself to some stickers and some hardware. Make sure you're not caught out without M2x6 screws on your next build. There's a Teespring channel. If you don't have many FPV t-shirts or hoodies or whatever, and you want to show some love, there's a Fiverr store where you can book me one-on-one. I've got coming up on 6 years at some point here of experience in the hobby. I would love to distill that down for you, and instead of you having to bash your head into every single aspect of FPV, I can dump a ton of knowledge that I've bashed my head into to save you time and probably money, to be honest. The build planning service is something that the folks that have worked with me on it have absolutely loved. Basically, I have a big list of questions. I figure out exactly the right frame, motors, battery, power plant, everything for the type of flying that you plan on doing. And then you don't have to do all that research yourself, which is really expensive and really time-consuming. You can get dialed in almost perfectly, and then, you know, if the motors that I suggested are the wrong color, you're good to go. But you can at least make sure that you get the right stator size and KV. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. Bunch of affiliate links over there too. Whenever you're ordering FPV stuff, think about your gangly buddy. See if I have an affiliate link to that website. It is free money. 1 to 6% of your entire order will come to me as a referral. Or if you're ordering on Amazon, I have Amazon affiliate links. Amazon only pays out at 1%, but if enough of you guys do it, that makes a big difference. And hey, you can't tell me you don't want to stick it to Amazon and get some goddamn money out of them. If you use your URL bar you can like type in AMA and it'll pop up your Amazon link. You can hit X next to it, and then hit my affiliate link a couple times, and then my affiliate link will be your preferred link when you type AMA. And then you don't even have to think about it. Every time you go to Amazon and type AMA, you're going to hit my affiliate link. It's going to put my info in your shopping cart. Good to go. All right, enough shilling. Let's get into the chat, get caught up here, and then we can work on some slammed glides. CiottiFPV says, Collective, what's up? Got my glide in today. Woohoo. Grizz is on Team Glide. Richard Wilson says, hey, y'all. B-Man says, hey, yo. Halfboard says, CiottiFPV is a marketing genius right here. I was lucky enough to work for a search engine optimization company for a couple of years after I worked at disc makers. First I was in sales there, and then I was in, that was actually where I started my project management career, I guess. It was what that would be called. And yeah, I learned a lot. It was, this was like early days of search engine optimization, so things have changed quite a bit. But what's interesting is that things haven't really changed very much, realistically. I mean, like the tech has changed, and the Google updates, I'm sure, are way more sophisticated now. But marketing is marketing. Convincing a human being to tell another human being something is probably always going to be the gold standard. And in my opinion, at least, yeah, the people that are really good at marketing just have a window into how to kind of do that. YouTube has certainly changed the game a little bit. I think there's a lot to be said for thumbnails and clickbait. But yeah, a human being recommending something will always stomp a really interesting thumbnail, ooh, with big text and bright colors and words that trick you into clicking on it. Halfboard says, being nice, people want to work with polite people over super skill, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. There's a lot of assholes, but you know, I'm never gonna stoop to. That's, you know, I'm just not into that. I'm not into, and I never will be. I'll never be into the whole like ruthless marketing, or you guys know what I mean. Martin Fuchs forgot to tag me, but it looks like a good question. He says, random question, do you have any thoughts on pusher versus non-pusher Cinewhoops? Try to think about how I could adjust the Cinesplorer to a pusher configuration out of curiosity. So from a physics or whatever standpoint, pushers are always going to be less efficient. Well, not always, but the all else being equal, a pusher will always be less efficient, because there's a very, like, our brains think about the thrust being what is pushing the rig up into the air. That's only true in the first instant that you take off, or when you're flying really low to the ground in ground effect, which is pretty rare. The whole rest of the time, the rig is actually not really pushing itself up in the air, it's pulling itself up into the air. And the way that makes sense in my brain of thinking about that is that the air is just hanging out, it's not moving, maybe moving a little bit, and then you take a propeller and you create a low pressure zone, a vacuum up above the propeller. And that's where the work is getting done, right? The air was just hanging out, and now all of a sudden you're trying to move that air, you're grabbing that air and you're pulling it down into the propeller. And so that's where all the work is being done. And so the more obstructions that you have up in that area, like the arm or the whatever you've got to hold the motor, that's going to create a big efficiency problem. Much more so than putting those obstructions under where the thrust, where the positive pressure zone is and the thrust is. The thrust, it's done. Like, the work has been done. All the work got done up here to pull it down. The thrust is just get this air the hell out of here so I can pull more air down. If you're into motorsports and you want another example of this, in the last 5 to 10 years, we've seen a huge influx of swan neck rear wings. A rear wing on a car is designed to produce downforce. So it's kind of the opposite of our propellers, all right? That's very important to understand that. A swan neck rear wing, if this is the rear wing, the typical easy way to mount the rear wing is with standoffs on the bottom like this. But the standoffs on the bottom, these are in the low pressure zone because it's sucking the wing down. The similar thing happens with wings. The low pressure zone is more important. The rear wing on a car is actually being sucked down rather than being pushed down. The air comes down off the rear window and it hits the wing and it bangs up like that. That whole situation creates this low pressure zone under the wing and it sucks the wing down. So by the same token, the bottom of the wing, the low pressure zone, is what's important. So we've seen aerodynamicists figure that out, and now instead of doing the simple and easy trunk mounts down here, if they can engineer it, they'll do a swan neck rear wing where the supports for the wing connect to the top, the high pressure zone, and then the standoff kind of does this. They're incredibly ugly, but they're much more, not much more, but they are significantly more efficient than wings with typical standoffs. So yeah, the advantage of push. So that's just one part of the story, though, right? The advantage of the pusher rig is that we've got a camera here, and we're trying to keep the ducts out. We want to move this camera in towards the center of gravity as much as possible. And if you think about the field of view of the camera, right, which is like a big cone, big round cone, the field of view, the bottom of the field of view, eventually, as you pull the camera in, is going to pick up the ducts, and that's no good for cinematic footage, right? Well, if you turn this thing over and you picture that same field of view, look what happens here. See how it rolls off like that? See how the duct kind of rolls off? So you can pull the camera in a little bit farther towards the center of gravity. That makes the quad fly a little bit better in some ways. So it's, there's more to it than just the one thing. Here's the other thing, is that when you build a pusher rig like this, sometimes you can actually put a bigger propeller on it and keep the same size of the rig. This is not a good example. This is a puller rig, which has the props right up against each other, right? Like you can't really make this any smaller. You know what I mean? Like the props are really, really, really close to each other here. So that's not really a benefit on a rig like this. But not all pullers look like this, right? So there's a lot of different things going on. I definitely prefer the way that puller rigs fly. I've yet to. I mean, the pusher rigs are totally fine and they have their place. And well, here's the other thing too. With a bigger propeller is more efficient. So you can gain some of that efficiency back by going like from a 3.5 inch, from a 3-inch to a 3.5 inch prop, for example, right? So there's a lot of different variables that kind of go into the whole pusher versus puller comparison. For me, I've always dug the way that puller rigs fly and the way that they build and the way that they land, and yeah. So for me, it's puller rigs. On one of the builds that you guys are going to see pretty soon is going to be this QAVS Cine from CiottiFPV, and they want you to build this as a pusher rig, but I'm going to be building it as a puller rig. And what's going to be kind of cool about this is I think I can pretty easily fly this thing in each orientation. And then we can get some real, actual head-to-head data on how much of an efficiency difference there is. Is it 1%? Is it 10%, right? I mean, if it's 1%, then the whole efficiency conversation loses a lot of steam, right? But if it's 10%, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So this is going to be cool. This is also a rig that I'm going to be building, hopefully, for the American Crit bicycling series. I think this is going to be a really nice live flying rig to carry DJI. I'm going to try to keep this absolutely as light as possible. I'm going to do a naked vista in here, and it's going to be on these 1306 RCX motors, 6,000 kV that I'm going to run on 4S. I'm hoping to have something that becomes like really acrobatic. The Cinesplores with the ducts removed, they're fine, but those 2004 motors are a very low. They're a pretty low kV, so it ends up being the Cinesplores are a platform to lift a heavy camera, whereas and that's not what I'm doing here. It's really cool that I can fit the 3.5-inch props on it, and it does, and they did shockingly well at that event on Saturday. But yeah, for what we're trying to do there with such a light payload, I get the feeling that there might be a better way of doing it. I also love that this has physical guards all around, right? So like absolute worst case scenario, I bump one of these riders' helmets, it's just gonna bump it and bounce right off. Whereas the Cinesplores with the exposed props, it's gonna bump the helmet, that prop is gonna stop, and it's gonna fall out of the air. So this might be a better kind of option for that. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the aerodynamic situation is of this. I mean, this is certainly going to cut through the air a whole hell of a lot better than a rig with like full-blown guards on it, right? So this is going to be able to match their 30-ish mile-an-hour speed a lot better than a ducted rig, but it's really compelling to just have Cineglides where I can put the ducts on if I have a tailwind, or if I'm just going slowly, or doing some stuff like this, or stuff like this. Doing some, more cinematic-ish, like flying around paddock maybe, things like that. And then just being able to pop those ducts off with 3 screws each, like that's amazing. And then run a 3.5-inch prop to get some really nice efficiency. Like that's a really cool setup. Like that's a really versatile setup. And I'll be traveling, so that becomes even more important. And I'm starting to hear from some of these cycling companies that are seeing my footage from Saturday, and they're wanting to work together on more cinematic kind of stuff. So it makes a lot of sense there as well, because I just slap the ducts back on, put the GoPro right up on top, and away we go. Technically speaking, this should be able to carry a full-size GoPro, but these 1306 motors are going to get awful hot trying to pick up, 130-gram camera. This will be kind of a purpose-built DJI carrying rig like this, and maybe this just becomes the very specific bicycle chasing rig, and that's fine. Like it's not big, it's nice and flat. I can throw this in a carry-on, it'll be good to go. No, big gangly GoPro mount hanging off the front, no exposed props. So yeah, and I'll always feel more comfortable having, if I can have 4 rigs instead of 3, that makes me that much more chilled out. And so I'm looking forward to this build for sure. Really interested to see how it does at 20, 30, 35, 40 miles an hour. We'll see if I have a feeling that those motors are going to have plenty of ass for it, and I'm hoping that it's going to be light enough where those motors don't get too hot. So hopefully I'll have a rig that I can hammer the throttle and get a shitload of power, which will get the motors hot, but then hop off of it. So you know, be able to do stuff like dive down and then just blast the throttle to really quickly just slam down and away we go. Yeah, just have as dynamic of a rig as possible, because even with the 3.5-inch props, the Cinesplores with these, you know, 2004 big boy motors that don't have mega kV, they just don't have that like big rush of horsepower that it would be nice to have, because that also helps you get out of kind of like sticky situations, right? Like if something really weird happens, having access to a huge burst of thrust can kind of get you out of the way of stuff a little bit quicker. So we'll see. I'm super interested in. I'm also really interested in testing that thing as a pusher versus a puller. On CiottiFPV's website, they say that making it a pusher gained them a 30% increase in efficiency. That's data that comes from Cinequads and Freybot. And I'm familiar with Freybot. He used to live in Charleston, and I'm not going to say anything mean now. But yeah, the physics does not support in any way, shape, or form a 30% increase in efficiency. Quite the opposite. So it'll be cool to see if, you know, what do I know? Not what do I know. There are a lot of aerodynamic things going on these quads. Maybe there is. Maybe there's some crazy aerodynamic situation going on with the way that, you know, there's flat carbon or something like that. I can't wait to find out. I've been fascinated by the whole pusher versus puller thing for a long time. And every time I've done any kind of a head-to-head, the pullers, I can build the pullers to be a little bit lighter, which is always a huge thumbs up from me, because I just prefer the way that lighter rigs fly in the types of flying gigs that I get. And they also tend to be a lot quieter, which is also really nice for me. People that fly around outside, you can make a really good case for pushers. They're louder, but you can put sometimes a bigger propeller on to get more thrust. And a lot of times they have smaller ducts or guards on them. So they have the potential to carry more speed. So yeah, it's this is one of my favorite things in FPV are these like engineering sort of challenges and having these like, you know, you make a gain here, but then you have a loss there. Like, which one was this a bigger gain than this loss? Do you care more about this gain than this loss? It's a really cool little challenge to sort of bounce around and yeah, just engineer a rig that's perfect for your specific type of flying, because that makes a big difference. You know, that's why bind and flies will never ever be the best bet. You will always have a better flying rig by building it yourself with the props, motors, frame, electronics, battery, GoPro mount that specifically suits your needs. And that's also why I love doing the build planning so much, because it's really fun for me to find out your exact intended use, and it's a cool little challenge for me to kind of think about that and be like, all right, 2306 or 2207, you know, 4S or 6S, this frame or that frame. It's super, super fun. What else we got going on in the chat? RGMG says, thoughts on the new GoPro Bones? Fly with it yet? Wondering if we'll have direct power cord into balance lead anytime soon versus soldering direct to flight controller. I will hope if it hits Best Buy, I will almost certainly buy one. I'm nowhere near big enough to get anything fancy like that sent to me, which is totally fine. Yeah, I may very well buy one, even if it doesn't hit Best Buy, but I at least want to give it a minute. I at least want to take a pause for a minute, see if it makes its way to Best Buy, because even though most Best Buys are not doing in-store swap outs anymore, the Best Buy send it in, and then obviously it's not fixable, you pick a new one up at the store process is a lot quicker than GoPro's $5 a month or whatever the hell it is process of mailing it in and waiting and all that stuff. And God forbid you word your email incorrectly and they say, sorry, that's not covered under our terms. Best Buy's Geek Squad protection has proven to be like sort of bulletproof in a way where, you can come in with a camera that's like on fire and they'll just be like, okay. So yeah. Wonder if we'll have a direct power cord into balance lead anytime soon versus soldering direct. That's been around for a long time, RGMG. There have been direct balance lead power cords for probably a couple of years now. So that's already out there if you want to go that route. I haven't really thought much about the naked GoPro thing. But off the top of my head, I think I would rather have just the 3 cables coming up off of the flight controller in through the pick a hole in the carbon fiber top plate and just shoot them right through there, and then you can really slick just hook it up to the camera, versus having the balance lead, which in the best case scenario you can maybe get under a battery strap, and then you've got the cord kind of coming out and then going to the camera. Just the more cord hanging out around spinning props, the sketchier it feels. So I feel like, yeah, I would rather. I mean, if you're worried about the flight controller back failing, then you can just do one of these little tiny external BECs and hook it up directly to the ESC power pads and do the same thing. Run it under the ESC and then just bring that wire up as close as you possibly can to where the camera is, and then you've just got a little bit less of a failure point there. So that's just my sort of thoughts on it. Havboard says, see above Martin Fuchs' comment. Okay, cool, got that. Thanks. That's how it's done, friends. Havboard is an OG. He saw somebody that asked a great question, but forgot to tag at CiottiFPV, and he pointed me up at it. Thank you for that, brother. Cheesehead FPV says, what's going on with DJI? Yeah, on the news, on Joshua and It's Blunty's news last night, I guess it was. Don't quote me on this, but I think basically what they said is they have a semi-reliable tip that they've gotten that DJI may be discontinuing the air units. And so I freaked out and went on Get FPV and panic bought 2 more Caddx Vistas. Thanks guys. This right here came in very, very, very handy last night. So yeah, I panic bought 2 full-size Vistas, one of them with a Nebula Pro Nano, the other one with the gigantic heavy silver DJI camera. Really tempted to snag one more, but DJI is notorious for, this isn't the first time that it's been, DJI is gonna stop making something. Oh God! Everybody run out and buy it. And then a week later, DJI goes, "Oh hey, so here's a new goggle." But I guess best case scenario, depending on how you look at it, is that we've also heard that they have some V3 goggles coming out. What if the V3 setup is 1080 instead of 720? That would be kind of devastating for me, because I just spent all this time and money, not much money, mainly time, because of generous people like T-Bird, McConnell Studios, and FPV Exchange, and a lot of you beautiful bastards on the 720p setup. And realistically with these live flying gigs, if they continue, yeah, if a setup comes out that has 1080, I will have to kind of switch over. Selfishly, what I hope for instead is that it's still 720, but it's lower latency. You know, what if the new goggles require a new VTX in order to get the latency down? I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, panic buy your Caddx Vistas now, because, I mean, yeah, if they get discontinued, like, that's bad news. That's real bad news, right? Luckily, their gear right now is incredibly durable, so, you know, if you buy enough right now, maybe you'll be good to go forever. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Frosty Worldwide FPV says, are you on the same rates for all rigs? Absolutely. It's actually pretty important, in my opinion, to match your rates up in all rigs. So if you're going to be flying freestyle and cinematic stuff, pick a set of rates that's somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. And yeah, every single bit of freestyle footage that you've seen from me is on the exact same kind of more cinematic oriented rates. And I actually really like that, because that makes your freestyle flying an awful lot more watchable for like the masses, you know? So like when you show your footage to somebody that's not an FPV pilot with a broken FPV brain, they will tend to not go like, oh God, you're making me dizzy. You know, they'll be able to like actually watch it and be like, wow, this is really good. I love this. And you know, I mean, that doesn't really matter, but it feels good. On top of that, by having the same rates on everything, you're developing one set of muscle memory and one set of pacing and tempo in your brain of how quickly you need to move the sticks to get an intended amount of rotation or an intended look to the camera move. So yeah, in my opinion, matching all of your rates up is really, really important. I think where this maybe falls down is if you do both freestyle and racing, because typically race rates are very low, very, very low, and there is a point where it's kind of like almost hard to freestyle with rates that are so low. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I have no interest in racing. If I want to race, I'm going to do it in a car, where I have tactile feedback and exhaust sounds and G-forces and all the other wonderful things that come from the most expensive hobby
in the world,
which is motorsport. Kenny Kobe says, how much for a one-on-one? It's over on Fiverr, and then you can just, the details and pricing is over on Fiverr, and then you can just message me direct if you want. Fiverr takes like 13%. It's fine. But, I don't even know what it is. It was $80 an hour for a while, but I think I might have discounted it. But yeah, whatever it is, it's over on Fiverr. I try to charge, I try to keep my rates with anything that I'm doing above $80 an hour. It's impossible to work a 40-hour week. You know, it's impossible for me to book 40 of these things a week. You know, $80 an hour sounds like an awful lot, but on a good day, if I can get like 1 or 2 hours of either flying gigs or, you know, one-on-one sessions, that's a pretty good day. So yeah, 80 an hour is basically as low as I can possibly go if I want to continue to do FPV as a full-time career. Just sort of the way it is. Cost of doing business. That's not the right usage of that, but it just is what it is. And, you know, it's not like Joe Schmo that's answering questions for you. It's somebody that's got coming up on 6 years into this. So, you know, what's 10,000 hours of experience worth to you, right? Good, cheap, fast. Pick two. Martin says, thanks for the elaborate answer. You're certainly welcome. That's the only kind of answers that I give. Chomper says, I have 2 of those and they fly great. One has 2203s, one has 1404s. Very cool, Chomper. I didn't know you had a couple of them. Love that. Love to hear that. FPV Trucker says, have you seen Stan FPV's Cinewoop frame kit? It's $90. I have. I don't know. It looks an awful lot like the Cinesplorer. I'll stop there. Northern Tier FPV says, how about a new GoPro Bones on it? What did you think about that? I love it. I'm hoping I can get one from Best Buy, but even if I can't get it from Best Buy, I'll probably snag one. I've had a Hero 6 that I've been meaning to tear apart to do the naked mod to, but I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin the Hero 6. And so I've been very hesitant to do it. I've watched the videos. It looks like a real pain in the ass. Tommy even called it out in his Hero 10 Bones review. What a ridiculous name. He's ruined a couple of GoPro Heroes, tearing them down. And so, yeah, it'd be really nice to be able to just buy one that has some sort of a warranty through either GoPro or Best Buy. So I dig that. Boys FPV says, your opinion on TBS Source V3 5-inch. Arms are extremely weak, and it's not cheap enough to not buy a Glide. The Glide, in my opinion, is a much better frame for not a lot of extra money. It's a much more configurable frame. It's just a better frame all around. If you absolutely don't have the extra $20 or whatever, the Source One frames are totally fine. A lot of people fly them. But I don't understand how the community made some of the decisions that they made on the Source One frames. There are some pretty strange decisions that were made on those Source One frames by the community. The only thing I can think of is that the majority of our community is typically new folks, right? FPV is very difficult and very time consuming, so people tend to come on board, they get obsessed, and then they either burn it out or they just can't continue to put the time in. So the majority of the community is typically very fresh. And when you're very fresh, you don't have the full picture. So yeah, that's the only thing I kind of think of. But it's one of the better frames available, but for a couple extra dollars you can get a Glide, and to me that's a much better frame in a lot of different ways. WAM FPV says, so cool to see the cycling community react to your footage. Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. The cycling community seems pretty fucking cool. Seems like a pretty cool group of people. I'm down. And it's like, you know, there's wheels, there's tires, there's carbon fiber. Like, it's pretty cool. I don't know if you'll ever catch me on one of those things. But I'm digging the vibe in the cycling community. It also seems like a bunch of woke people, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. I've sent probably 200 messages out today to people in that community, and the responses that I've got have been just awesome. Just really cool folks. So that's been pretty awesome. Quasimodo says, I read that V3 has OLED and 1080 resolution. I couldn't care any less about OLED, but if it's 1080, god damn it. We'll see. We'll see. Ciotti upgrades to DJI. DJI changes everything. Woo! Kill me. Although all things considered, the amount of money that I made from this gig definitely offsets the amount of work that I put into and time that I put into moving everything over to DJI. So, yeah, could be worse. Raven says, DJI V3, 4K, 2 milliseconds latency, cooks you breakfast. Gives you a reach around. That's my addition. LongFPV says, definitely, it's a super gear nerd hobby too. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely tell that. And somewhere between cars and FPV. Yeah, right up our alley, right? P. Richard Scott's in the house. He says, glide forever. Best all-around 5-inch freestyle frame. Can't argue with that. This guy knows what's what. Patrick, you home yet? Or are you still, Hey guys, it's my birthday in a few days. Wednesday, Thursday is the 14th, Friday is the 15th, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is my birthday. I'll be 41 years old. Hey, no stream on Friday. Maggie and I are going up to Stone Mountain to learn about the Confederacy. No. That's the worst thing about Stone Mountain is it's got a really horrible history. But yeah, we're going up there. My parents for Christmas got us a super generous gift certificate to there and told us that we need to stay in the yurts. And yeah, the yurts there are like this. I love. I'm super into this like kind of glamping thing. Not like full blown glamping like fur and like there's a limit, but like camping without like the misery. Right? Like especially when it rains. Like camping when it rains is a fucking nightmare. I don't care how hardcore you are. Like it's a goddamn nightmare. Like stop. Like you're not fooling anybody being like it's you're not fooling anybody. You know, I'm fucking 40 plus years old now. I got nothing to prove. Nothing. Me being comfortable and happy and actually getting a night of sleep. I mean, call me whatever you want. You can call me that while I'm lounged back enjoying myself rather than in absolute misery. So I win. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Initially I was like, oh, this will be super. So Stone Mountain is a no drone zone. Initially I was like, fuck them. You know, I'm gonna bring some quads and fly around and get some footage. But man, I have been very, very, very busy with FPV stuff over the past couple of weeks, and I don't think I'm gonna bring. I think I'm gonna use this as a full blown vacation away from my job. You know, like FPV is now my job. I still love flying. Don't get me wrong, but it is still my job, and to avoid burnout, you just have to take time away from the things that you really love. And so I think that I'm going to resist the urge to bring anything FPV related. I'm very tempted to bring at least bring the Mavic, but I don't know. After this stream, I'm packing up, and if I get packed early enough, I'm gonna head up to Maggie's tonight, if not tomorrow morning. But I don't know. I haven't fully thought it through, and yeah, it would be nice to just completely unplug. So yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, and to be honest, if you're waiting for me to get back to you on something, I gotta be honest, I'm probably not gonna get back to you until Sunday. I'm gonna try to do a stream on Sunday. I don't think it's gonna be a 3 p.m. stream. I think it's gonna be a Sunday night stream, because I want to hang out with you guys on my birthday. So yeah, there should be a Sunday stream. No guarantees. I can almost guarantee you it will not be a 3 p.m. Eastern time Sunday stream. because I just won't be home in time. We check out is like 11, I think, and then we'll go back to Maggie's house, and then and that's a ride, and then it's another ride back here, and I don't think on my birthday I'm gonna like just be like rushing around to try to get back here. But yeah, I can almost guarantee you guys that I will do a stream on Sunday. Time to be determined. So make sure that you're a patron so that you get my email when I am streaming on Sunday, and you can celebrate my birthday, my 41st birthday with me. Yarb says power loop da yurt. Steezy FPV says, did you see that Potato Jet video about the new Michael Bay movie? Sorry if you already discussed it. Looks cool for FPV. I saw the thumbnail. I don't watch Potato Jet stuff. To be honest, I don't watch much FPV stuff anymore. I've been into FPV for an awful long time. And so there's I get the gist of what's in that, and it's cool, but yeah, I probably won't watch that, but I have heard that it's good, and hopefully every bit of exposure that we get is a good thing. It kind of scares me sometimes, because the more exposure we get, the more idiots they're going to get introduced to it, and idiots are what will potentially ruin this for all of us at some point. So I'm always very torn when FPV gets a lot of exposure, because it's really difficult and it's really easy to fuck up. And as soon as somebody gets seriously hurt with one of these and it winds up on the news, we could potentially be in trouble. So I'm always kind of freaked out by that, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Cool. I'm caught up on chat. I'm going to pull the chat over here, and I'm going to roll over to the bench, and we will do some work on some slammed glides. Keep those questions coming, though. I can sometimes talk and build at the same time. Not always. Let me play you guys some flight footage from yesterday. You might have seen some of this over on Instagram. I put up a little reel that, good God, everybody was like freaking out about that reel that I threw up. That was just some random freestyling. What I want to do for you guys here is I'm going to play you some footage that was filmed. I'm going to play you some footage that was flown on an analog rig with a session, and then I'm going to play you some footage flown on a DJI rig with a session. The footage is all through the session. I want you guys to see if you can figure out which flight footage was from a DJI rig and which was from an analog rig. What a fun game, isn't it? Most of this footage was filmed vertically for Instagram Reels, but I think one battery was filmed normal. So yeah, I'll be interested to see if you guys can figure it out. I think you'll be able to figure it out. I gotta be honest. I think that you guys are very intelligent. I think that there are some things that will give it away pretty easily. But maybe not. Maybe not. I actually don't. I don't even know. I don't even know which memory card this is. Something's up with the audio. Everything looks good on my side. Alex Brown says audio suddenly. Oh God, are you kidding me? Is this the same audio problem we used to have? Hold on. Be right back. Any better? Any better? Anybody? Bueller? If that didn't work, I'll quit out of OBS one more time. It's better? Okay, cool. Good. This is the DJI goggle thing. Riot9 says, any concerns about the bones overhanging above ducts on Cinewhoops? Not really, because you're gonna mount it to a 3D printed thingy, and you can just adjust the placement of the 3D printed, triple jib jab, the little GoPro mount. So yeah, you could just fix it with 3D printing. I will not, if/when whatever I get one, I will not run. I hate that little screw mount thing, because you don't know what up tilt you're doing. I will run Brain 3D mounts that it slides into, so that you can have a mount that's 10 degrees, you can have a mount that's 20 degrees, and you have a mount that's 30 degrees, and then you know what you're getting. It's not just like, oh, this looks about right, and it's at 17 degrees, and then your FPV camera is at some other weird ass angle. Up tilt is really important for muscle memory. And what I've found is that if you put a 20-degree GoPro mount on, you now have a nice line that represents 20 degrees. So then you go down to your FPV camera and you match it up with that 20-degree line that the GoPro mount has drawn. And then you know that your FPV camera is at 20 degrees. And then when you put a 30-degree mount on, you can put so it gives you a representation. Veritas Weasel says, Veritas Weasel, rewind back. We've talked about the Hero 8 bones a couple of times so far on the stream. Rewind back and then play it in 2x and you'll get a good laugh. Okay, so I am going to put this on. And yeah. The game is, was this flown on an analog rig or a DJI rig? That's the game. That is not... And the footage is all from a session, so you can't just go, oh, that footage looks like ass, that must be analog. This is all the HD footage. Okay, so this is sideways, so let's open this with Inna. And we're gonna rotate. All right, cool. So, try to figure it out. Give you guys a minute to watch. And I'm gonna start getting stuff figured out over here on the bench.
yards.
All right, so there's one. Here is the next one. All right, so you got a feel for that. All right. And now we're going to swap it out. And come on. Come on. There it is. Okay. So here is the other. Come on. No. Come on. There we go. And all right. All right. Hold on. I gotta play. I want to play the other vertical one. Okay. So this is all you get from the other rig. I just have this one battery, but here you go. I flew this rig one horizontal flight, one vertical flight, but I need to give you guys the vertical flight. Otherwise, it'll be impossible for you to tell. And okay, here you go. Which mic is live right now? Oh, the Zoom mic is on? Sorry, guys. Well, I'll leave it. I want to leave everything the same. The audio is not going to do you any good. It's not going to help you decide. I'll give you a little more volume, though. If you have a guess, don't just make the guess, say why. If you think you have it figured out, don't just say, one is this, one is the other, say why. Because that's really what matters. Different motors on these rigs. This is, I'm not going to tell you what motors, because those of you that pay really close attention might be able to figure it out from that. But different motors on the rigs, both glides. Motors are really the only difference. And the video system, of course. Anybody that saw this footage on Instagram, I just used a copy and paste. I don't know if I gave it away in the Instagram comment, but the Instagram comment is just a copy and paste. So that Instagram comment, if there's like an analog VTX in there, you know, in my description, that doesn't matter. That's just a copy and paste. That's not gonna help you figure this out. So that's King Turkey. That's Max, King Turkey. Yeah, he said he's never seen the ARM LEDs before. So I was like, oh, I'll show him the ARM LEDs. So I kept messing with him. I knew exactly where he was. He was telling me where he was walking out to retrieve. So I knew where he was to kind of mess with him a little bit. Get in that hole! Almost. Oh, I gotta fix that. Something happened there. I don't know. I mean, I was full throttle for a hot minute. Yeah, something got real upset there. I gotta keep my eye on that. These are both on 5143s, in case you're wondering. So there you guys go. What do you think? And tell me, oh, god damn it. I pointed it at myself. So you guys, I guess you guys figured it out at the end. That's fine. Can you see a difference in... You didn't see the first video. Why the hell not? What? What? God damn it. What didn't you guys see? The first one or the second one? Michael Blade tagged me with a little hand. Veritas Weasel says, did you get any damage on your drowned when you crashed it just now in that building? No, it didn't even bend a prop. The GemFan 5143-3s are such a durable prop. I brought it back and I'm like, oh, okay, this thing's totally fine. Roboxon says, got some Tiny Hawks and Tellos to repair tomorrow. I wonder what a Tello is. Veritas Weasel says, I meant drone, not drowned. Family Giver says, we are watching Mr. Gangly now. Robox says, no video, wrong screen. Great. Kenny Kobe says, you dick, LOL, I need your help. Make a play date with me on Discord. I have 2 drones I need help with, and I'll pay you. Kenny, I am booked until next week. But yeah, shoot me a message anywhere, CiottiFPV everywhere, and we'll get you set up next week for sure. Roboxon says, hello, McFly. Cole Powers says, CiottiFPV friends, CiottiFPV reacts to drone videos. CZFPV says, we didn't see the first video. And then somebody says, we didn't see the last video. Brandon's Big Bean says, GoPro sent me 2 of those new Hero 10 Bones cameras. I don't know what they were thinking. They just sent them to you? What? You didn't order them? What? What's up, Super Deluxe? Kenny Kobe says, would you rather me guess if it's DJI or analog? Come on, Bud. I hope you knew I was kidding, but I really need help. Elmo Wack says, hey Ciotti, how's it going? Elmo Wack, to get my attention, if you type CiottiFPV, it'll light up in orange. I just happened to see your comment. Super Deluxe says, second is DJI because I can see the confidence, you got closer to branches, etc. Interesting. Dusty Joe says, will the crossfire work on a tracer? Absolutely not. Family Guyver says, first is digital, closer to branches. Second, the Gangly Man. Third, analog feels like a lighter rig, and branches avoided by far almost missed the hole. So Family Guyver thinks first is DJI. WAM-FPV YouTube just did the thing. WAM-FPV says first one was DJI. You were holding back because of the latency difference. Super Lux says, yeah, the goggles gave it away. Let me just keep working through these. Brandon Big Bean says, I work very part-time at a video production magazine. I get to play with things. Ah, very cool. Veritas Weasel says, Telos are small drones you can buy at Best Buy that are manufactured by Ryzen, but have DJI's software running on them. Really, it's interesting. You can fly them indoors using a DJI Fly app and a controller. No shit, I did not know such thing existed. CMYK is in the house. So yeah, first was DJI, second was analog. The reason why I found Super Deluxe's comment to be super interesting is that I was much less comfortable on DJI. To be fair, it was darker when I was flying the DJI batteries, which is probably why I kept hitting Scraggle, because even on DJI I couldn't see it. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. I flew, and actually I flew the analog batteries first. Well, you could obviously see that by the amount of light. But yeah, so that analog battery was my second freestyle battery in like the last 6 months. So kind of wild to see the extra confidence on analog, even though I was like very, very rusty. Maybe again, it was because of the amount of light, but I did not feel any benefit to DJI. I'm really, admittedly, I need to fly it more. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of batteries flown through analog, so my brain is just completely dialed into it, which is probably where 99% of that comfort level came from. But yeah, kind of interesting. What I think I did notice, though, is that I feel like I was flying a little bit faster with DJI, which would make sense because I can see farther ahead, and the farther ahead that I can see, the faster I'm willing to go. Because like the speed that I'm traveling is based on like fear, so to speak. And like if I'm going faster than I'm comfortable and I feel like I might slam into something that I don't see because I'm going too fast, I slow down. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, I feel like DJI did let me comfortably go faster. That's not necessarily a good thing, though. Like that's just a thing, right? Like how fast we go in freestyle doesn't really matter. We can make up for that with things like flying really low to the ground. When you fly really low to the ground, you fill like half your frame up with the ground whizzing by you, and that gives an incredible sense of speed. So just like, yeah, it is interesting because the ability to see farther ahead, the ability to comfortably fly faster is nice. It's nice to have that in your pocket, right? For like a bigger spot, for example. So pretty interesting. It was really cool for me to watch that footage back after the fact, because to me it was super obvious. Like I knew which one I was on, but yeah, it's super interesting. I'm really looking forward to flying more freestyle and continuing to try to get used to DJI and suss out the in a strictly freestyle setting the difference between the two. After that live flying gig, I am pretty fucking sold on DJI for cinematic stuff. The distance that I was able to see those power lines was a goddamn game changer. On the bit of live flying footage that there's a billion people commenting on, the couple of safety weenies that are in there, the common thread between all the safety weenies was, oh my god, this guy's a lunatic, he's gonna hit one of those power lines. And I replied I actually replied to them, and I also messaged them individually in a super respectful way, and I was like, hey, I super appreciate you being safety minded. I am, this was the safest I've ever been. I was holding back, blah blah blah. And I talked to them about, sub 250 and all the planning that we did, and I scoped out and I knew exactly the height of each individual, and I just kind of broke it down for them to chill them out a little bit. But yeah, that was a really big deal. The distance away from those power lines that I could spot them and make sure that I picked either over or under. That was a really big deal. That was a really big part of why it was so safe to kind of do that. So that was cool. I was really happy with that. So yeah, in cinematic flying situations where there's not going to be like a complete RF nightmare, because that still does worry me. The fact that the DJI goggles can and do just completely lose link and just black completely out and take way too long to come back online. That's horrifying. That's really, really, really scary. So yeah, that's I'm still not sold there, and I think the only way that I'm gonna become sold there is just by forcing myself to fly it enough, and once I've got 200 batteries through it without it blacking out, I'll be a lot more comfortable. But yeah, like if I had a gig that was like in an area where there's where I can look around and be like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Wi-Fi here, there's going to be a lot of whatever, cell towers, whatever it may be, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared to fly in those areas with DJI for sure. I feel like analog is even if analog can't handle it better, it doesn't just shut off and then take 20 seconds to come back, right? Like analog slowly goes out, and as it's slowly going out, you can change your location to not have it go all the way. So it's interesting. It's yeah, still figuring it out. I'm very lucky to be able to figure it out. I'm having a blast with it. Let me get caught back up on chat here. CMYK in the house. Kenny Kobe says, I won't repeat anymore. Sorry. I'll try to wait until next week. Luckily, I have a smoke stopper or I'm going to lose it and burn something out. Stress is real. Yeah, sorry, dude. I'm just hammered right now. I would love to be able to help each individual person, but I got to draw the line somewhere. Sorry, dude. Kenny Kobe also says, but regardless, I love your flying, man. I know you're just converting, but I'll toss you a C note for the help. Probably take 15 minutes. Kenny, just ask it in the chat, brother. There's lots of super smart people in the chat that can help out. And if you tag me, I'll read it in the chat. Yeah, get it. Put it in the chat. It's one of the beautiful things about this community, is that the folks that really know what they're talking about have kind of latched onto me, and they hang out in the chat all the time. So drop it in there, and we'll see what we can do for you. Okay, so the next thing that I'm doing on these rigs is getting the VTXs situated. My preferred location is right here for all of them, and then I'm going to get them up on some VHB. the Immersion RC Tramps. The only thing I don't like about these is that the plug header is a little bit thicker than the bottom, but it's an easy fix. You just double or quadruple stack the VHB, and then that takes up that gap. And then what's nice about that is it's sitting on like a nice cushion of VHB. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, 1.21 gigawatts is great, but it's not like the end all be all. If there's security cameras on 5.8, that will blast you right out of the air, like what happened to Tommy on the National Discovery shoot. So yeah, it's just scary. It's just really scary to completely lose video and have no chance of getting it back in enough time to safely get yourself out of the situation. So it's just something that I don't have to deal with and learn to kind of work around. So these are let's figure out what pads. So I think what I need to do first is figure out how I'm going to orient these flight controllers. If I'm going to have this sitting like this, or if I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. So let me pull these up on. Let me pull these up on the internet here, and we're going to take a look at a pinout and see what's what with the way these things are pinned out. That is the version 1 F7 Fusion. That's not what we want. I think these are the V2 F7 Fusions, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what Pyrodrone's got going on. Justin Auld says, DJI fades out on the sides of the image to show you that it is fading out. It does, Justin, until you get whaled by 5.8, and then it just shuts all the way off. That has happened to both Nurk and Tommy, and Cricket as well. There are situations where DJI will just get blasted. And that typically, I mean, for me, in over 5 years of flying, that's never happened on analog. When analog goes out, even when it gets blasted, there is some warning. And then if you hammer the throttle, for example, it'll come right back. So, yeah. Kenny Kobe says, okay, I'd like to support you, bro. I haven't been around for the last 2 weeks, but it's basically I cannot arm, I guess, when I have bidirectional D-shot on. I think a motor is grounding, possibly, or my ESC. So if you can't arm, what you want to do is throw your goggles on and try to arm it, and in your warnings in the OSD, it'll give you an arming flag. What that arming flag says is a huge clue as to what's going on. So do that first. That's your first bit of troubleshooting. That's gonna help more than anything else that we can do here. Can I please find this F7? Fusion. I think this is the Fusion. Heli Nation, really? Why do you not... What? Hold on. Is this maybe the right... No, this is not. Talon F7 V2. Hold on, let's just do this. Let's just search for Talon. Ah, balls. That's going to pull up all the motors. All right, that's better. Okay. Okay, so I guess they just don't have it on their site anymore. That's what's happening. Is this real life? What's going on here? None of the pictures are right. This flight controller looks different than the pictures. What's going on here? Is this real life? Hold on. Yeah, this isn't it. What's... It's silk screened right on there. Talon F7 V 2.0. What's happening? Is this the MPU 6000 one? No, it's not. The MPU 6000 one has silk screened on it, MPU 6000. What's this one? Hold on, is this the one? No, that's not the one either. What's happening? Let's try this. Google. Hook a brother up. Talon F7 V2. Okay, come on. Somebody... Let's go to images. What do we got? Hey! Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Oh, that's the F4. Of course that's not the one. That's not it either. That's not it either. Come on, man. Where... Is this real life? Is this really happening? Oh, this is it. That's the one. Where's that? One drone? Where did it go? Oh, you bastard. There it is. OneDrone.com. Thank you, chat, for helping Kenny out. We'll get this figured out. As soon as I know that arming tag, it'll help a lot. Oh, there he goes. He didn't tag me. Serial port is the arming flag. Serial port? Serial port? What the hell? Serial port. That's an interesting arming flag. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know if I've ever seen that that arming flag before. MSP serial link on UART2. Do you get all 5 beeps, Kenny? Let me take a step back from that. What's the ESC? Is the ESC BLHeli-S or BLHeli-32? I need to know that. Hey, here it is. Okay, this is the one. This is the one. Yeah, there it is. Talon F7 V2. Cool. BLHeli-32. Okay. First thing you need to do is download the brand new, it's from like 3 days ago, version of BLHeli-32. And then I need you to flash 32.9, I think. It's 0.9. The brand new firmware is 0.9. You gotta get that flashed on there. That's important. There have been some weird issues with weird versions of BLHeli-32, so we need to make sure that we get you onto port 0.9 first before we do anything else. So definitely do that. All right. So beautiful. This is what I needed. All right, great. Let me get one of these. Well, I'm actually have to get all of these flight controllers kicked off. Whoa, it's 9:43. I am not gonna go beyond 10 o'clock because I need to get packed and I want to get my ass over to Maggie's to start my little birthday adventure, hopefully tonight. But yeah, I just need to get packed. So, All right, we're gonna figure out what pads we can maybe do one of these, and then maybe I'll do the other ones off stream. Okay, so we've got looking at the pads here. I've got the plug header and then beeper plus and minus. Plug header's got VBAC, of course, and then up on top here we've got cam signal, ground, 5 volt cam positive, S bus, camera control, TX2, TX what appears to be a 6 maybe, and then RX6. Okay, cool. Where are the VT? Okay, so the VT. All right, so I'm almost certainly going to mount these things the way that they're currently mounted, because the VTX pads are in the rear here, and I just really like to use that. So we've got VTX signal, VTX positive, ground, and then TX1. The VTX is not powered by the USB, so we can safely put the VTX onto TX1 here. So I'm going to do these 4 pads in a row to wire up the tramp, and then I'm actually going to run power from the tramp up to the camera to get the cleanest possible camera signal. So yeah, we're just going to use these 4 pads directly back to the VTX here. LED 5 volt ground, and then we can choose here between VBAT and 5 volt on this little jumper pad. That's going to pick what kind of voltage goes to this VTX S plus power pad here. Make sense? So let's knock that out on at least one of these. Zoom this out here, and all right, cool. Got the right camera up. Get the soldering iron on here, and all right. So actually, we're gonna batch this shit, man. I'm trying to batch all these builds as much as I possibly can. So let's tin all the pads that we're going to use for the VTXs on all 3 of these. And I can probably get the wires laid down before 10 o'clock. All right, so let's line these guys up with the pads that we want. And it's basically just the right 4 pads that we're going to be tinning and then soldering the plug headers to. How the hell? How have we been streaming for an hour and 50 minutes? What's happening here? Did I miss something? Did I start late or something? I think I started like a minute late, but like Jesus. Alright, so I have to bridge these pads. Where do I have to bridge them? I'm going to bridge them on the left for VBAT. Okay. Let's get to stepping here. Is that still a thing that people say? Alright. So, here we go. Let's get some tinning done real quick here. Little jumpers are so goddamn annoying sometimes. There we go. All right, and then we're going to tin up the last 4 pads here. Not the last 4, just the 4 that are on the right. Oops. Those 2 guys bridged. There we go. Fixed it up. If 2 pads bridge together, all you really need to do is put the soldering iron between those 2 pads, get heat into both of them, and then, like I just did there, quickly pull the tip of the soldering iron between those 2 pads, and it will break the little bridge between them. hard to kind of put into words, but you'll figure it out. There we go. Just got to see me do it again, so you should have a really good feel for how to do that by now. And all right, let's get this last set of jumpers going here. All right, and then the last 4 pads, the right 4 pads rather. All right, there we go. So that's all set. Next up, let's hit these with another little bit of flux here to get them ready for the wires coming down onto them. So I'm going to use the Immersion RC wire plug headers here that have double grounds. Double black grounds. One of these is going to go here. The other one is going to go all the way up front to the camera. So let me find a couple of these. Well, let me find 3 of them. There's 2. And give me one more. Come on. One more, please. Where is it at? All right, there we go. I'm rating my personal stash for this one. This is how much I love you guys. Raid my little stash of tramp wires here. Okay, so let's just take a look at the length that these guys need to be. This is now, I'm putting this on here upside down, but that's okay because we're just figuring out lengths. So the tramp is going to sit here. It butts right up against this standoff. And so this guy gets plugged in like that. It basically sits right there. Also, it puts the standoff in between the plug and the body. And okay, so yeah, we can chop this down a little bit. I mean, these wires are spun up, so they're already taking some of the length out. But we can get this all nice and neat and tidy. Tidy builds all day, you know it. All right, so here we go. It's going to sit like that. Hold on. Nope, it's going to sit like that. There we go. Okay. So all 4 of these wires are going to this pad. I'm actually going to artificially kind of like move this thing back because I want to get a little bit of extra room on these. So the red, one of the blacks, and then let's see. Audio is on green, so we don't need green. We're going to pull green out of this. White is for telemetry, yellow is for video, orange is for voltage in, and then I'm sorry, no, orange is for voltage out. Orange is for 5 volts out. Red and black are for voltage in. So we need to trim down the red, 1 black, the yellow, and then the white. All right, so let's get this out of the way, this out of the way, and we'll get the orange out of the way as well. All right, cool. And we got 4 wires here. Let's move this back to get enough jam on them. What's cool about this is once I measure one of these out, I can just hold the other ones up to it and just cut those the exact same length. All right, so I'm going to use my thumb here as a little measuring stick, and we're going to cut these guys. I'm just going to give them a little bit extra. All right, cool. So now I can take these other 3 wiring harnesses and just trim them to the exact same length. And then we can start zapping these guys down. So let's straighten this guy out here. Come on, come on, come on. All right. Kenny, once you have the 0.9 version of BLHeli32 loaded, I need to know if you're getting all 5 beeps or not. Do. The first three beeps, do. That is the ESC saying, hey, I'm here, I'm good to go, I've got power. The last two beeps are the flight controller saying, hey, I'm able to talk to the ESC. So I need to know that. And then at the same time, I need to know whether or not you have bidirectional D-shot turned on or off. And the next thing that I want you to do is when it does those startup tones, I want you to touch, like hold each motor. You're probably going to have to do it a couple times, but what I need to know is, are the motors on those first three beeps, are all three motors firing? You should be able to feel them. That's going to be an important part of this troubleshoot as well. All right, got that. I'll cut these down a little bit. And then here's the last one. Get this green out of here. Get this orange out of here. Get one of these blacks out of here. And there we've got our 4 wires again. Cool. Line this up a little bit. And basically right there. We're going to chop them. All right. Good to go. If for some reason one of the 4 motors is not, either the ESC is blown up, or there might be a situation where the pins are bent. I doubt that, but you never know. So let's get these guys stripped. Athix, I'm building 3. Okay, alright, I don't see my name tagged. So either you guys are helping Kenny, or maybe he's still doing the update. Because he's got to download that new configurator, and then it takes a while. Alright, so we're going to strip these guys. And what time is it? 9:56. Okay, we're making good time. Alright. Ooh, shitters. I didn't make the grunting noise and it bit me in the ass. Alright, cool. So we're gonna tin all 4 of those. Move on to the next here. Kenny Kobe says no beeps. Okay. Alright, so that's wow, okay, so no beeps means that the ESC is blown up, my man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But when you put power to an ESC, if it's a functioning ESC with motors connected to it, it's going to give you the first 3 beeps. I mean, I guess there's a chance that it could be like ultra corrupted on the flash. So I would try to re-flash it in BL 32, but I gotta be honest, man, that is not a good sign that you're getting no beeps whatsoever. That is real bad. So get it back into BL 32 and try to re-flash it, because yeah, something serious is going on there if you don't at least even get those first 3 beeps. That is not great. That's not a great sign, man. I apologize. All right, and here we go. Looks like chat's helping you out a ton though, and I mean, to be honest, troubleshooting is not really my strong suit. That you're probably going to get. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you got better answers from some folks in the chat. Yeah, I just don't spend a lot of time troubleshooting. I've done it a lot over the years because you have to, but yeah, I don't do a ton of troubleshooting anymore. Joshua is the absolute ninja when it comes to that. My God, he has seen it all. Hell of a resource for us to have in this hobby. All right, everything is stripped. Let's get it tinned. And then I think I should be able to zap these down before. I know I said I wasn't going to go at all beyond 10, but I would really love to get this nice little chunk of work done on these things and have these VTXs ready to go. I was hoping I'd get to pack at least some stuff today, but man, the day just got away from me. I had talk therapy, I had a bunch of phone calls, and then that post popped up on the cycling channel, and you just got to jump on it, man. You know, that's a huge priority for me. There's the chance that I could make a lot this year. From this crit cycling league, so I'm really going above and beyond to, or not league, championship or whatever. Yeah. One of the other things that's you know, super important is to really have a hardcore list of priorities and to stick to it. It's really important. Alright, here we go. Got some tinning going here. Alright, one done. You want to put the soldering iron below the exposed strands of wire, and you're going to lift the big bubble of solder up onto those strands, and then you're going to feed fresh solder from the top. And you're trying to feed fresh solder in between the strands of wire so that you really get it tinned up nicely. Alright, there we go with that. A little solder ball action on the thing here. The mat. The only thing this mat doesn't do well is deal with solder balls, but it's not bad. It just melts the top material a little bit. Just leaves a little mark. It's usually not all that bad. All right, so we got 2 of these done. Let's grab the third one here. Get these tinned up, and then we can just zap them on down to the flight controllers. And yeah, then our VTXs will be pre-wired and ready to go. Next time we can maybe get the cameras on here. Get the cameras mounted. We're gonna have to go wire to wire to power the cameras from this VTX, which is it's a little bit of a sacrifice. I for a while I tried to not do that, but man, the you get much better noise performance having the camera powered off of the VTX. I've definitely found, and you know, with analog, we need as much video performance as we can possibly get. And the whole noisy video thing is just super annoying. One of those rigs that I was flying in that footage that I played for you guys was very noisy. The analog rig, actually. There's a ton of video noise in that rig. Kind of wild that even with that video noise, I'm still so much more comfortable flying it just because it's on analog. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see how the brain kind of reacts to stuff like that. Alright, so I'm going to do this kind of upside down. Where where's that? I need to pull this up full screen, fellas. Just bear with me. Okay, so signal. So VTX signal is going to be first, all the way off on the side there. All right, here we go. So we're going to go yellow first. Okay. Here we go. These pads still have that extra bit of flux that I put on them, so this is going to melt like pretty much instantaneously, which is nice. And then we've got power, VBAT. Let me get that a little bit cleaner. Better. And then we've got ground and then TX1. Let's go ground here next. Okay, and then TX1. All right, let's check our work, make sure everything looks good. Oh yeah, nice and shiny. Plenty of solder, and then that pad is bridged. One done. Drop this in the frame over here off camera a little bit. I'll give you guys the satisfaction. There we go. All right, cool. And we're probably going to spin that up to use a little bit of the extra cable. But we'll wait until everything is soldered on there to do that. First step, jack up your car. All right, let's get this little wire bundle straightened out a little bit here. Alrighty, here we go. First up is signal. Take it easy. There we go. No, come on, get out of there. Can you just, okay. Let me do this. Well, no. Yep, there it is. That's perfect. So we got signal, and then we've got power. Oops. There we go. All right, power, then ground, I think. All right, there's our power. Ground is next. Kind of hanging out there already. All right, beautiful. Dropped on there all nice like, and then we've got TX is our last pad. For that smart audio goodness. Oh, that one's kind of ugly. Let's fix that. Better. Check our work, and we'll move on to the last one. Clean up this last. Let's just rework this last one just a little tiny bit. The silicone is a little too far up on the pad for my liking. Much better. Much better. There we go. All right. Drop this in the frame for safekeeping. And one more, and then we're gonna shut this mother down. So that I can get some food and pack and head up to my favorite person in the world, my favorite 3 people in the world, to spend some good old quality time. I can't wait. I'm a lucky dude, man. Yeah, I don't know. I really sometimes I really have a hard time coming to grips with the fact that, like, I don't know. I didn't think I was ever gonna find anyone, let alone someone that is just in a lot of ways like a lot better for me, if I'm really honest. It's just crazy. Never give up, friends. Never, never, never. I'll play Clam Man in a minute. We need a Clam Man now. All right, what's next? We've got power. Am I the only one that like obsessively checks over these pads so that you get them right? Is that just me? I'll look like 4 times. Like I'll look and then 3 seconds will go by. I'll be like, let me just double check. Look again. Look one more time. Is that just me? Am I the only crazy one here? Well, that's just a lie. Definitely not the only crazy one here. Got a little ground action here. Let's, where'd that solder go? There it is. Right in front of me. I think the flux has evaporated a little bit from these pads, so we'll use fresh solder because that has a flux core. Oh, or the soldering iron turned down. Yep, soldering iron went into auto cool down mode, so gives me a chance to add some more flux here. By the time I'm done doing this, it'll be back up to temperature and we can knock this out. Okay. Probably good to go. Let's give it a shot. Yep, there it goes. This big explosion of flux fumes. And now for telemetry for that beautiful smart audio chocolatey goodness. There it be! 4 more beautiful little shiny balls. Check our work. And oh yeah, we are good to go. That is looking quite right. Put it in the frame here. And we will wrap on up for the day. Look at that. I'll lay these guys out as a reminder what I'm going to be working on when I come back. There you go. Tramps are going to hang out back here. I'll twist these wires up once we have the cameras all connected. And we will move on. Leave this out here. And this can go away. These guys can, well, I'll throw these in. Throw these in so you guys have an extra, whoever gets these has an extra harness. In case they need it. And an extra couple of wires. Cool. And then, yeah, I need to remove that green. Don't just cut it. Remove it. It's easy. All right. Let me get this zoomed out here. Come over here. I'm going to leave this opened. Okay, let me see if I can get caught up on chat a little bit. Oh man, looks like you guys are hooking Kenny Kobe up. Awesome. B-Man says, how many times do you wash your hands, homie? Not very often. Do I have dirty fingernails? B-Man says, if you look at it more than twice, you're playing with it. Scroll. Okay. I gotta roll. It's 10:15 already. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm sorry, Kenny. I wish I had time to give you one-on-one support, but over on the Discord, a lot of these folks hang out. Chat. Who's gonna head over to Discord and help Kenny out, because I know that you guys can hook a brother up. Let's knock that out. No stream on Friday. I will be relaxing in the woods. Sunday stream will not be at 3 p.m. It might be at 3 p.m. I doubt it, but it'll probably be a later than 3 p.m. stream. Sunday is my birthday, so yeah. Let's hang out. Love you guys. Be good. Here comes some flying, and I'll see you on Sunday. CiottiFPV.com if you want to support the gangly man. Love ya. Later. buy them? Recently?
Like 2 weeks ago.
So